Hello there, ladies and gents. Welcome to today's video in which I will document, review, and sound demo this beautiful guitar. This is an ESP-edwards Katakana Alexi Laiho Signature Series guitar. Let's get right into the specs and features of this beautiful instrument. Out of the factory, these guitars come with an EMG H2 pickup, which I swapped with a Jackson J50 BC pickup on this guitar. It has an ESP-MMO4 gain boost installed, which helps you get a unique tone that comes primarily from your guitar. It comes with gold hardware, including a Floyd Rose original, and I did install hollow points on the Floyd Rose, which is what you guys see on the back end of the bridge there. These guitars come with an ebony fretboard and 24 extra jumbo frets. The last 5 frets are scalloped. The fretboard on this guitar is blank after the 12th fret, so the PRS style birds you guys see on some of the footage are just decals that I used in the past. One cool feature that makes these guitars unique among the Alexi Laiho models is that they have Japanese lettering on the 12th fret. They just say Alexi in Japanese, which I think looks really cool. The luster reflected from this guitar's inlays is absolutely beautiful. Before I got this guitar, I never really cared about how inlays lustered or reflected light. I just mostly cared about how they looked. And with this guitar, it's hard not to notice how beautiful that is. So I definitely acquired a taste for that from this guitar. I'll try to show this for you guys on camera, but just know that my iPhone camera is not going to do it justice. For those of you not familiar with the brand, Edwards is a sub-brand of ESP. I like to think of these guitars as Japanese made/built LTDs. I think the Edwards name as a brand sounds very generic though, which is why I covered the headstock logo with a Nightwish sticker. Worth noting is that these guitars are only legally sold in Japan because of the body shapes. The guitar body shape copyright laws aren't as strict in Japan, which makes it so that ESP and its sub-brands can make guitars however they want without restriction. This, like all other Alexi Laiho ESPs, is based on a Jackson RR24. Unfortunately for us living in the United States, this means that the Alexi Laiho ESP signature guitars that are sold here have a bigger bottom horn to distinguish them from the Jackson body shape. The case fitting on the bottom shows you guys how much smaller the bottom wing is on the Alexi Laiho guitar that's made in Japan for the Japanese market. I stated that you can think of these guitars as Japanese made/built LTDs, and you might think, well, wait, isn't that what the E2 brand is? Well, the answer is no. You can think of those guitars as Japanese-made LTDs for the US market. So when you get an E2 that's an Alexi Laiho model, it will have the bigger bottom horn like the ESP sold in the United States. Also worth noting is that the body shape of these Japanese ESPs and its sub-brands is not exactly like that of the Jackson RR24s. The wings on the Japanese ESPs are a bit more expanded, so the cases that are molded for Jackson Rhodes-shaped guitars will not fit Japanese ESP Alexi guitars. This is what the back of the guitar looks like. I installed Goto locking tuners on this guitar, but out of the factory it came with Goto non-locking tuners. The back of the neck is not coated in paint or lacquer, which makes for a very smooth feeling neck. These guitars do not come with a backplate for the routing cavity of the trem system, but it's almost flawless. I also installed official Floyd Rose noiseless springs on this guitar, but they don't make much of a difference besides just looking cool. Lastly, we have the pinstripes present both in the back and front of the guitar, as well as a cool COBHC lettering on the back. This is what the control cavity looks like for this guitar, and inside we can see the wiring for the ESP-MMO4 gain boost. This gain boost gives you up to 10 decibels of extra gain, which you can adjust by turning the dial that's there with a small screwdriver. You also get a 4-band EQ, which again you have to use a small screwdriver to flip the switches for the EQ that you want. This guitar does come with a battery cavity for the gain boost, so even though the pickups aren't active out of the factory or the one that's in this guitar, you do need a battery for the gain boost. Lastly, these guitars come with an external mini toggle switch, which you can use to turn the gain boost and EQ on and off. So now let's get into the tone test demo for this guitar, then afterwards I'll talk about a few more things, including where it ranks among the Alexi guitars. So a little background as to how I got this guitar. Back in 2012, I actually had the ESP custom shop version of this guitar, but I couldn't justify having spent all my life savings on a single instrument, especially since I was still in high school. So I sold that guitar for a very little amount of profit and bought this guitar instead, which was a fraction of the price. Luckily for me, this guitar is 90 to 95% as good and just as beautiful as the custom shop version. This guitar not costing an arm and a leg made me feel better about putting stickers on it and personalizing it and upgrading it, because with the ESP custom shop version, I felt like I had to be insanely careful about not scratching it or wearing it out because it would decrease the value. I do regret selling that custom shop guitar though. I do apologize for not having any footage of the custom shop ESP version of this guitar, but this was back in 2012 and I didn't have a nice phone or camera to film it with. So comparing these Edwards Alexi guitars to the ESP USA Alexi guitars and the LTD Alexi guitars and the E2 Alexi guitars, these Edwards guitars are actually better because they try to be as faithful as possible to the custom shop versions of these guitars, and for the most part they succeed. Also keep in mind that Alexi Laiho never used his LTDs or the USA versions of his guitars on stage, so if you want something that's the most faithful to his stage guitars, these Edwards guitars are, unless you have the money to buy a custom shop ESP. The only downside of these guitars is, again, that the headstock logo, the name brand Edwards, is very generic. Okay, so final thoughts on this guitar. In terms of sound, with the Jackson J50 BC, I give this guitar a 9.5 out of 10. For metal, it sounds amazing, and surprisingly, for cleans, it sounds amazing too. It just doesn't look like a guitar that somebody would use in a jazz or clean guitar environment. A lot of versatility in this guitar, especially if you consider that you can change the pickup's frequencies and gain output using the MMO4 EQ and gain boost. I know I didn't sound demo the EMG H2 pickup this guitar originally came with, so you guys are going to have to take my word for it. It gets an 8.6 out of 10 in terms of sound, so not as good and not as versatile as the Jackson J50 BC. In terms of construction, I give this guitar a 9.5 out of 10. It's made to be very durable. This has been my main guitar since 2012, and I've beaten it up a lot over the years, and it still plays like a charm. In terms of feel and playability, I also give this guitar a 9.5 out of 10. It feels good to hold in almost every way. You can easily access all the frets. The scalloped frets help those frets ring a little better. The back of the neck feels smooth, and the guitar is well balanced when you play with it standing up. In terms of aesthetics, I give this guitar a 9.5 out of 10 as well. It's just an absolutely beautiful guitar. The luster of the Inlays is just the tip of the iceberg. The design of this guitar makes it so that it's very photogenic, so it looks beautiful from almost every angle. Overall, these are excellent and beautiful guitars. They definitely serve their purpose of being evolved Randy Rhoads guitars, and to be honest with you guys, these guitars are a lot better constructed and a lot more beautiful than most of what Jackson's putting out nowadays. Nothing against Jackson guitars, I actually own a few of those myself, but it feels weird yet truthful to say that as of right now, ESP makes the better Rhoads guitars. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, comments, concerns about these guitars, drop them in the comments. Besides that, you guys stay safe and I will see you in the next video. Take care.